Hello, my name's Sean. I'm the chair of the National Bonsai Society. I exhibit and display bonsai trees across the UK, and I also offer talks for various societies and bonsai clubs.
Hello, my name's Steve Holland. I'm the former chairman of the National Bonsai Society. I've been doing bonsai for over 25 years now.
My first introduction to bonsai came when I watched The Karate Kid, and so many people that I've met on this journey, that was also their first experience where they seen bonsai. Actually getting involved, I've got a lot to thank for YouTube's algorithm that suddenly put Peter Chan's videos into my feed.
I started doing bonsai because I went on a horticultural course for a local authority when I was working for Lancashire County Council, and I was amazed how he could recognise trees on the estate, and I really got interested in trees in general. So obviously you can't keep big trees, so I keep little bonsais. When I started bonsai, I was joined the National Bonsai Society fairly quickly, and a lot of the members within that society was my first teachers, and trying to do bonsai on your own is always difficult. You make a lot of mistakes, you kill a lot of trees off, and I was the worst culprit. I did some terrible mistakes when I first started, but you learn, and you learn quickly in the society, and you can actually get as much information as you can possibly take on board, and trying to get the information as quickly as you can, that's very, very important to keep the health of the tree, not only to save your financial investment but also your investment in time. A lot of the members helped me tremendously with, with the trees that I had at the time, and there was a lot of the older members, the names that spring to mind: Arnold Davis, Alan Idden, Frank Entwistle, Sean Dring. They all helped me in their own way, and just being next to them and listening to their sort of stories and how they work with their trees, that was invaluable. Bonsai's been going probably in the region of about 3,000 years. We can only guess or presume that it started in China. There's no publications or anything like that in years ago. The first information that we had on bonsai was sort of cave paintings in China, but there's been practice all over the world in the likes of China, Japan, India. It's even been done in Italy, different places in Europe, but it's only in the sort of last 100 years that's actually been done in Western societies. The National Bonsai Society is the very first bonsai society to be formed in the UK. That was back in 1973, and it was basically an offshoot of the Cactus Society, and it split from the Cactus Society, and they had a nucleus of a dozen members at that time. That has actually grown since then. At the heyday, the National Bonsai Society had something like 2,000 members. Since then, there's lots of other local clubs that have been formed, regional clubs, local clubs, and at the moment we have about 70 members in the group.
I was particularly interested in bonsai trees that can display the real struggle that some trees have to survive in nature. Sometimes we see, for example, park trees left with no competition to grow to the natural state, big, healthy, lush trees, and they look great, you know. But I'm particularly interested in the trees that have less favourable conditions, maybe high altitude in the mountains, battered by snow and wind. And the image that they display of a real struggle to survive, but they keep going anyway, you know. Sometimes hundreds of years growth, and the tree can still be really small and just managing to sustain itself for a long period of time. I'm particularly interested in trees that show beauty despite the struggle to survive.
I tend to have trees which are dynamic, so it's not a single tree coming straight out the ground, nice canopy, nice foliage. It can be quite boring just looking at trees that style. However, there is a style called literati, which is a more rugged looking tree. They're the trees that I particularly like, and I have quite a few of them in my collection.
As the chair of the Bonsai Society, I've only started recently at the beginning of this year. It's now my responsibility to deal with requests from new members. As the National Bonsai Society, we often get questions sent through the website about care for trees. How would you follow this tree? Can you recommend certain feeds or techniques? I answer those. If new members want to come along, I'll invite them to come to a meeting. A standard meeting, people can come along free of charge to see if it's something that they're interested in. Every month at the club, we have what we call the Tree of the Month competition, which is to encourage members of all ability levels to bring trees to the club. We split entrance into 3 categories. We have beginners, intermediate, and advanced. Bonsai is definitely a delayed gratification form of art. It's not a case of having your idea, taking the canvas and painting the image exactly how you see it. It becomes almost like a compromise. You can do the work on a tree. You can maybe wait weeks to months for the tree to respond. Growing bonsai is very relaxing as a pastime.
When you're doing bonsai, the time passes so quickly.
While I'm working on a tree, I absolutely lose track of time. If I'm wired in a tree, quite often I'll lose half a day and suddenly realise how late it is when it goes dark.
It's not stressful at all. You can actually do a lot of design work in the tree with pruning, repotting, rewiring and getting the tree styled, but generally it's relaxing and it's a beautiful hobby.